Well, thank you all very much. I certainly have several things I'd like to share, but before I share that, have you guys all had the opportunity to tell Kevin Stone happy birthday yet? Please, don't let the day go by before we don't get the time to say happy birthday, Kevin Stone. Some of you may have missed his last birthday, but it's an incredible.
Okay, for the record, it's not my birthday. I thought my comments were finished, but they are not.
I told him I'd get the mic after him. But no, as you can tell, it's such an honor to serve. I mean, when I've had the opportunity to kind of get my business going right at 30 years ago now, June 27th of 1995 is when I started the business, and never could imagine to build the team that we've been able to build the community we have here locally, to build the community on a national level. And it's with absolute utmost gratitude to create the partnerships, that kind of started to bring me in the industry and kind of adopted me and allowed me to have the opportunities to serve and give back to an industry that has done so much for me, my team, my community along the way. And I think I was 10 years in when the first alert folks in Residio knocked on my door and said, hey, we have this program where you can kind of listen and learn and hear from each other and develop. And it's pretty amazing of what my first 10 years in the business versus the next 10 and continued thereon. So with partnerships like that, with DMP and executive roundtables, it is remarkable to see what we can do where we listen and learn. But it's organizations like our state associations and like an ESA. For ESA to have programs like the Executive Management Professionals, where we get to kind of volunteer our time but be able to listen and learn from so many remarkable folks. But to watch the leadership of what each and every one of you guys done before me, we realize some folks are in the audience, just like I was, John Knox, while you were president. While Marshall, you were president for a while. To watch the leadership that each one of you did that allowed companies like mine to come together for an ESX. George DeMarco, huge thank you for the years you've served to be able to put things like this together. I was just at DMP's 50th anniversary gathering the other day, and Rick Britton said this, and it just resonated so well. You don't have to be wealthy to be generous. You don't have to be wealthy to be generous. And when it's that time that so many of those behind me and so many of you in this audience have generously given of your time, your insights, your thoughts, it just empowers me in ways to kind of listen, learn, and try different things. So we know we're a unique industry, and even the folks that are gathered in this room to take the time away from your business to come and share some of the best practices. And look, we've listened and learned and tried things, and certainly they've failed, but we've had a lot of tremendous successes, which is where we continue to go and grow. We realize that 30 years, we're as small as we're ever going to be right now. But another term that I learned years ago, it's called civic rent. As much as we invest in ESA, when some of us take time to volunteer on the committees and engage different ways, but that civic rent that all the members that contribute to organizations like TMA and ESA for the last 75 years to TMA, congratulations. The last 77 years of ESA is incredible, because the folks that are not even on the stage with us today that kind of paved the path for us all to have the steps from the involvement on a national level, a federal level, to be able to guide our industry to the best. I'm just honored and so appreciative of the opportunities to get seats at those tables, to have a say, to listen and learn and help us together navigate. Never forget reaching out to ACOM and others in our state when we had some state legislative challenges that maybe not just about my neighborhood, but affect us on a national level, which is where the partnership with STAN and SEAC becomes so important. Scott said it so very well that together we're all stronger. So to get a recognition like this, I certainly have got to ask my team, Brad and Eric and Diane and others with Loud Security Systems, would you guys please stand? I know sometimes you guys are so glad that they let me volunteer. This year, 30 years, Eric's been with us 23 of the 30 years. Brad came out of high school as an apprentice. He's been around our operations team for many years, celebrating 19 years. Diane, our controller's been there 22 years. We have such a great team, but it's because of that I get to seize the opportunities to be involved in our communities and then ultimately be recognized for something like this incredible award and such an honor. So thank you to the Weinstock families, those leaders that together put an organization like NBFAA and ESA together, because for all of us, we certainly benefit the richness and the benefits of not only what they did, but these leaders and our current board and what the future will be like. But thank you so very much for this honor. It's incredibly humbling. And without the support of my son, my daughter, Holly, right there, would you guys all please stand? Let's give them a... When I'm out the door, realize I did learn how to install alarm systems for a number of years, and my son and daughter were not there. So you're taking that time to be away from them. And Holly, for all the time that she's helped in so many ways to just enrich and grow in all my involvement with ESA and many of our other community things. I do want to shine a light on one last person here, Daryl Beaupre, a buddy of mine from high school, is the only person in the room that knew me before loud security systems ever even was involved. Daryl came down from New Hampshire, heard about this, and Daryl was one of my installers. He and I were installing together, doing Circuit City stores until 3 o'clock in the morning and figuring all this out. But it's an honor to have you guys here, and thank you all so very much. Thank you.